Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And guys, I come back with that video just to make you think. And we have Brad Garlinghouse on the Ripple movie. This case was set up to keep kicking the regulation can down the road. And we see the Russia and Ukraine situation bringing regulation in the name of national security. So therefore, they can defeat the very purpose of crypto, taking all your privacy away so they can see every transaction. That's the reason why the globe is going to a cashless society. And then also, we have Bitstamp CEO says the big money is moving over to stablecoins and taking money off of the table because we know why. The Fed is about to shrink this liquidity so therefore they can build a fourth industrial revolution, where the robots, algorithms, and drones take over the economy and the sheep go inside the metaverse. And remember, the crypto teacher told you because he knows when it comes to the New World Order, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Down a little bit today. It did really rise after this news. And over the 7-day period, actually, Emily, if you take a look, you do see Ripple rising to the point that it's rising almost twice as much as you see in Bitcoin over that period, and almost 3 times as you're seeing in Ethereum. So, yes, very good news in terms of Ripple and its SEC defense, but there are a lot of questions remaining for the market, not just for Ripple, but the crypto industry here at large. And that question is, as Bloomberg Intelligence calls it, a factual one. Will it cause more issuers to register with the SEC? And what type of regulatory overhang does it leave for the market, even after the Biden executive order that created some clarity for the market?
All right, this conversation with Ripple CEO himself, Brad Garlinghouse. Brad, good to have you back here on the show. You called this a victory in your battle against the SEC. What does it mean for you and also the broader crypto industry?
I do think I'll start there, really. I think it is a victory, not just for Ripple, the company, but also the whole crypto industry, because the SEC, I think, has consistently tried to take point and really expand their reach and their control over the crypto industry. We've seen that not just with Ripple, but in other cases. And to have the executive order, as Sonali was talking about, the executive order came out and really said to all agencies, hey, we need to be coordinated. If we want the United States to be competitive in this key technology platform, we need to not have one group behaving one way and another group behaving another way. So we were really pleased by not just the court's decision, but also the executive order that came out last week.
What do you make of the very prominent role that crypto is playing in the war on Ukraine, and also concerns about how cryptocurrency could be used, for example, as a tool to circumvent sanctions by Russians?
Emily, I think this is a bit of a red herring, meaning that there's a lot of attention around it as like, what does this mean? But the practicality of using it to circumvent sanctions, I think, is really difficult. And the reality is that if you just take the basic math, before the invasion of Ukraine, there's about $50 billion a day of Russian ruble cross-border FX trades. There's just not enough liquidity in the crypto market to really put much of a dent in that. Moreover, the point at which sanctions are applied is at the endpoint. So through, exchanges, a Bitstamp or a Binance. And I think you've seen globally that the major exchanges around the world say, hey, we're going to acknowledge, enforce, and respect those sanctions. And so I think that the idea that crypto is being used at any scale to circumvent sanctions is it doesn't really understand how some of this stuff works.
On one hand, you do have plenty of exchanges that seem to be working with the Biden administration to kind of figure out what's going on under the surface in the market. But on the other hand, when it comes to the SEC, it seems like they've been at the crosshairs of a number of different firms. Do you think the SEC is taking a tougher stance than the administration at large? And do you think that will hinder at all some of the progress that some firms are making?
Look, I think there's no question that the United States Securities and Exchange Commission has reduced the competitiveness of this critical industry in the United States. I think they've been out of step, not just with other parts of the U.S. government, but they've been out of step with other major economies around the world. The only country in the world that considers XRP, the digital asset that Ripple uses in our technology stack, the only country in the world that thinks XRP could be a security is the United States. We work successfully in the UK, in Switzerland, in Japan, in the UAE, in Singapore. All of these countries have acknowledged XRP as a currency because that's how it's used. So I think the way the U.S., if we want the U.S. to be a leader in this new, growing, critical, innovative industry like the internet 20 years ago, we need that regulatory clarity. And the SEC is really just coming out and saying that we're going to file lawsuits, enforcement. We're not going to provide clear rules so that people know how to operate.
Echoing the moves largely in risk assets, things like the NASDAQ 100, at least so far in the last few months. Was interested to see that your clients have also, raised some cash and maybe are taking down some of their crypto risk. What's your read on that?
Yeah, I think it's exactly that. So in this kind of uncertain environment, I don't have to tell you guys about the socio-political stuff going on, the inflation. We think that people are generally a little bit more conservative in all of their asset classes that they're dealing with, and crypto is no exception. We are seeing specifically at Bitstamp some evolution of investing trends. So for instance, a little bit more held in stablecoins today versus a year ago. Expected that it would be more of a valid hedge, for instance, against inflation than what we're seeing today. So this correlation, however, is not unexpected when you think about the role that crypto plays in most investors' lives today. It is a bit more speculative. And so when you're in an environment where de-risking is appropriate, they're going to take it out of stock and crypto. However, I do think in the future, as it becomes more of a mainstream investment and more of a central part of different investors' portfolios, I think it could start to play a different role, more like gold.
We're going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
This effort, and China has big plans for this. They intend to seed their digital yuan into the global environment by giving it away to visitors at next winter's Olympics. When they arrive at the airport, they're going to get yuan digital wallets. They're going to receive digital yuan. They're going to use it throughout their visits to Beijing, and then they're going to take it back to their home countries. They see this as a huge advantage. Why? Because who controls the underlying protocols, who controls the underlying standards of the future of money will control the future of money.
Most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids' books. I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Drama Team Save the Village. Part 2. King Yahshua and Grandma Tate save New York. From COVID Stories 3, Part 3. King Yahshua and Grandma Tate goes to China.
It's mandatory to get Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.